it's grown my business more than anything else. And I think something that maybe a lot of our listeners can relate to, but a lot of people think with email that it needs to be this formal thing, or that they have to follow some rules, or that it's hard, or it's really not. Like, some of my emails will be like 3 sentences just checking in and encouraging them to reply.
This is Super Bloom Coach, the podcast for ambitious women ready to 10x their business and their life. I'm your host, Mariah Riona, award-winning luxury brand designer and certified life coach. And every week, I'll be here as your Super Bloom coach, helping you ditch the limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck, small, and broke. We'll dive deep into the mindset, marketing, and strategy that actually moves the needle. Plus, have candid conversations with powerhouse women entrepreneurs who are blooming big in their own businesses. If you're ready to grow, you're in the right place. KYLIE helps online coaches, course creators, and service providers grow and monetize their audience without the constant hustle of social media. After building her own email list from 0 to almost 10,000 engaged subscribers using simple relationship-driven strategies, she now teaches others to do the same. As the host of the Email Growth Show and creator of top online events, KYLIE is known for making audience growth feel effortless, fun, and wildly effective. Through her private coaching and mastermind, she empowers online business owners to turn subscribers into buyers, build genuine connections, and create a business that thrives on its own terms. In this episode, KYLIE is sharing her secrets for how to grow your audience without social media.
We are talking about how to basically build your business, build your audience, get clients, all the things without social media, because everybody thinks you need social, and you are here to tell us that that is not the case. Is that right?
I am. So I've built my business without social because, I don't know, like, there's other ways. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to jump into this conversation together.
Tell me, first of all, why you don't use social.
Yeah, so a little bit of context, I suppose. I used to be a wedding photographer, so think perfectionist, very visual, putting a lot of pressure on myself to make everything look the way I wanted it to, like really curated, really, really pretty. And when the pandemic happened, like obviously life changed for so many of us, I ended up closing that business down. And when I pivoted onto an online business, I was like, well, my Instagram needs to look the same. It needs to look beautiful. It needs to look curated and pretty. And I was spending so much time just creating one post. And after a little while, I looked at the data. I was like, what am I getting from this? Because it doesn't seem to be giving me any money. Like, what am I actually getting from this? And then it was nothing. Like, there were no link clicks, or very little link clicks. Like, it wasn't actually translating into business growth or into revenue. So I kind of was like, well, we need to figure this out. There needs to be a better way. That kind of led me down that path.
So I was on your podcast. We were just talking about this before we jumped on. I think it was like 2.5, 3 years ago. And I remember when we were talking, I don't know if you remember this, we both realized we had come from wedding photography. I was a wedding photographer. Yes. Yeah, I was a wedding photographer for 10 years. And then it got me into, online marketing and branding and all of that. So I feel like I really struggled with that too. Just that perfectionism and like being a visual artist, you're just like there like tweaking everything and trying to make it perfect. I ended up taking a break from social media myself. I thought I was done, actually, and I found out you can grow a business without social media. What I heard from my own audience when I made this announcement, people literally wrote me and they were like, thank you. Thank you for letting me know this is possible. I think people have so much anxiety about social media. There's like so much pressure there. And it's really funny because now I'm a luxury brand designer, and we'll get brand new clients in to work with us, and they'll be like, the first question, like, they've hired me to do their logo, website, all the things, and the first thing they ask me, literally, they're like, yeah, but what about Instagram? And I'm just like, what about Instagram? Like, it's what, like, we think Instagram, like, we think if you have Instagram, you have a business. And it's like, no, like, it's one small thing. So I'd love to know what your system looks like. What are you using? How are you getting clients? What do you, like, people must be like mind blown right now. What? No Instagram, no social. So what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I love this question. And I 100% agree. I think it's the fact that people don't realize that we have options, right? We have so many options. And yeah, one of the things that I've really leaned into and I love is building relationships. And look, completely transparently, I was friggin' lonely. It's because I was like, I moved interstate. I didn't have any friends. I was like, I need some friends. Let's do it online. And so I started building relationships, and then that translated into my business growth as well. So that looks like a variety of different things together, but it all starts with building an authentic relationship. Hear the word authentic. We need to like do it from that place. With people that also serve our ideal clients, right? So building that relationship up, and then the conversation naturally goes to like, hey, let's do something together. Like, how can we collaborate? Do you want to share freebies? Do you want to do a podcast episode together? Like, it naturally will go there because you want to help each other. So it all starts with the relationships in my world.
Yeah, that's so funny because I think we connected because I was on your podcast. And then right after that, we collabed together on a few email bundles, which was so cool. Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to do this, right? What I think is really, I have this sneaking suspicion with AI just taking off. And I love AI. I use it all the time. But you just see everything getting more and more like polished, we can call it. Like everybody's copy is very polished and similar. Everyone's images are like, people just use AI images now and like all of that. I really think, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that you're going to start blending into the crowd, right? I think what's going to make us stand out in the next 5 to 10 years are these real connections that you're talking about, real relationships, whether it's online or in person, but like making real personal connections. I think that will be the game changer for people as we come up on more and more AI.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I 100% agree. And look, as an ex-photographer, I don't know if you feel the same. I hate AI photos. Like I know that, and look, this is a tangent I probably shouldn't get into on,
Oh, let's go. Let's do it.
It's all about trust. Like, how can I trust you if you're not willing to put your actual face in front of me? Like, I'm sorry, and maybe I'm biased because I used to be a photographer, but I use AI a lot, but that's a line that I think we shouldn't cross because I want to see the woman. I want to see the person. I want to actually connect and relate to her. In saying that, I use AI a lot. Like I use it as my brainstorming partner. I work from home by myself. As I said, I'm lonely, so I'm talking to AI about a lot of things I probably shouldn't. So I think AI, I think AI has a place. Yeah, I agree. I think it's the actual connections that are going to make a massive difference. And I heard a quote, I can't actually remember the statistics. So I'm not going to try and I'll probably botch it up, but it was something about how there is a loneliness pandemic, like how there's actually more people that are lonely than ever before, and yet we are super connected, in quotation marks for everybody who can't see me, but like we're meant to be connected through social, through the internet, and yet we're all really lonely. So it's these connections and actually being real and actually being yourself and being willing to show up and connect. I swear a lot in my emails, so if anybody's on my email list, they know I like to drop a well-placed F-bomb occasionally, and I think even stuff like that is like, this is how I talk, right? Like, be yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so funny you said the thing about the pictures because I literally, before we got on this call, I have another podcast that went live today, and they're on YouTube and they're on audio, and the YouTube was not tracking well. So like my first assumption is it's the thumbnail. So I took my actual thumbnail with my picture in it and I dropped it into chat, and it was like, hey, this is underperforming. I gave it a bunch of like stuff in the prompt, and I was like, can you help me? Like, I want something that will perform better. It spit back out a thumbnail of me, but it eerily like looked kind of like me, and I was like, it creeped me out so bad. I was like, it's like kind of me, but not. And it was like, I was like, this is so creepy. So we actually use AI a lot in the agency to kind of for stock photography. But for like what I love is we will make very specific images that are in our client's brand colors, but they're like objects and stuff. But when it's people, it freaks me out. It doesn't look right. Yeah.
And I think that's fine, right? Like if it's a picture of a desk or someone in the distance walking on the beach, or like if it's stuff where it doesn't actually matter, right? Like that's where that's cool. That's a tool. Like go for it. But yeah, I think it's when it's our face. Like come on, like let's just show like the wrinkles and the I don't know.
Yeah. Well, but more than that, it's like, you know, I love that whole I don't know if it was Da Vinci or Michelangelo, but the eyes are the window to the soul. And I really think that's true. And it's like, if you're putting your eyes out there and they're not your eyes, I mean, what does that do to us? You know, it's like AI generated eyes. It's like, we're not bearing our soul to people anymore. We're like really putting these masks up. I really feel that like you have to put yourself into it a lot to get good like it's just iterating on your own intelligence. If you go to AI and you're like, hey, do this for me, right? It's only as powerful as the prompt you give it, and you have to be smart enough to give it a really good prompt. And then argue with it when it comes back and you're like, no, that's not what I want. And I think a lot of people, the downfall is they're like, oh, AI is smarter than me. And they're like, do this thing. And then they use the first thing it spits out. And it's like, that's why we have all these captions that just like, all sound the same. I'm all about the in-person or the authentic like relationships, the real connections. I think that's amazing.
And really, and this is a little bit dropping it early, but one example. So I have an AI bot that I'd love to give to your audience. Her name's Sally. And again, it's using ChatGPT in a way that it literally replaces me. Like I've programmed her in the back with my frameworks and things. So if somebody wants a plan on how to grow their list, on how to show up, on how to be more visible, they can plug in what they're already doing to Sally and it'll spit out a 90-day plan that I would have written myself, right? So the link will be in the show notes, KylieKelly.com/Sally. Easy to remember.
Oh my God, I love it. But like, I'm going to go get myself Sally.
Like that's how we use AI. That's how we do it well.
Yeah, and yeah, you don't want to just like give over your agency to AI. You know what I mean? Like you want to. It's a tool. It's not there to replace you. I really believe. But I would love to talk more about like sort of strategy wise. Like what are you actually doing if you're not using social?
So the way that I teach it is there's two, if you imagine a capital V, there's two different sides to the V. V for visibility, super original Kylie, but there's two different sides, right? There's like a relationship-based collaboration side. So that side includes everything from freebie swaps, podcast guesting, bundles, summits, JV webinars, like anything that you could do with a partner comes on that visibility or that collaboration side. The other side is the search and SEO side. So I do think that these longer term strategies still have a place. We can't just go gung-ho on the collaboration relationship side and forget that our website, our copy, things like YouTube, like you mentioned, like all of that still has a place. So I always encourage my clients, you don't have to do everything, but let's choose one from the relationship side of the V and one from the search and SEO side so that we get that dopamine hit, we get that quick growth, we get to see our numbers doing the right things when we do the faster strategies, but then we also get the rewards from that longer term stuff because we've got something chipping away in the background too. So yeah, anything search and SEO, YouTube, blogging, social media that has the search. I know things are happening where they're becoming more found. So like if you love it, go for it. I'm not going to tell you to not to, but like think about doing something that has that SEO component in it as well. So yeah, one from each side. 90 days, look at the data, see what's working, and then decide what you want to do for the next 90 days.
I love that. I think that's such great advice because I see so many new entrepreneurs, especially like my clients, they'll come to me and they feel so overwhelmed because they think they have to do everything. And I think it's really empowering to know like it doesn't serve you to do everything because you can't do everything well. And especially as a solopreneur, you just don't have the hours in the day to do everything. And I tell them as far as content is concerned to pick one platform and get really good at that and then choose something else, right? But like if you're trying to do all the things and they're all brand new to you, nothing's gonna work, right? Going back to the long form content, like you were talking about, I am a huge fan of long form content. I personally tell everyone I'm an introvert. And, being super social and stuff, it doesn't come naturally to me. I like, a few close friends and like a long, like dinner and long conversation. That's sort of my happy place. And so to me, long form content feels like that. You know, you get to know people better. You kind of get to bare your soul a little bit more. As far as like content, I think a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs group it all into one thing. Like they think like Pinterest and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. It's like just this big clump. And to me, there's a really big divide between, if somebody hasn't heard this before, which you're calling long form content, and then we have short form content, which is like the Instagrams, TikToks, anything that like has a short shelf life. You can do the long form stuff, and the long form, like you were saying, works really well for SEO and is more what we would call evergreen, right? So it can work for you over time. Like I had a YouTube video that didn't do anything and then took off 18 months later, and one of my best performing YouTube videos. So I like that. Like if you're gonna put time and effort into something, I like something that you'll continue getting returns from.
I love that. And I love the point about like not having to do it all, because like for myself, I've got my podcast, and my long form content is really just making those show notes into a bit of a blog post and putting that out alongside my podcast. Like, and that's just then a workflow that I've gotten used to over the 4 years of having the podcast, and brings traffic. So it's like, you don't need to be on YouTube if you don't want to be on video. You don't need, like, you can choose what feels good for you and just be consistent, go all in with it. But then I also love the idea as well, and I'm sure you all agree, but like the permission to pivot. Like if you're doing something and you're like, I'm resenting it, I don't want to do it. Different if it feels stretchy. If it feels stretchy, push through the stretch. Like it might be uncomfortable to start with, give it a good shot. But like after a little while, if it's no longer aligned, you're allowed to change your mind. Like I change my mind all the time about things. Like I think it's important to give yourself permission to play as well.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because I left Instagram, I think during the pandemic. I was like, I can't handle this anymore. And I did think I needed it for business. But when I did, just like you're talking about, when I went and looked at it, I wasn't getting clients. Like my clients weren't coming from Instagram. So I was like, why am I doing this? So I was off of Instagram, I want to say for like 3 or 4 years. And then I don't know what happened. I just got curious. I know what happened. My YouTube was doing really well. And that's when reels were taking off. And my hairstylist was like, I just got 3 clients from this reel I made. She was like, you should make a reel. And I just approached it with a different mindset this time. I didn't feel like I needed it. And this time I was like, I know video. I can just make video on this other platform. And then it became fun. So I think you should just be where like you're talking about, it has the right energy for you. Like, yeah, stretch yourself. Like, don't just do it. Like, running a business is hard, right? Like we can do hard things, right? We can't shy away from all the hard things. But knowing you have limited resources, one of which is your time, choose the things that are most aligned, right? Mm-hmm. And like I really like that idea of pivoting. And like it's funny because you can pivot away from it and then you can pivot back to it later. Like the platforms are always changing.
Oh my gosh, I love that you share that. So I've been off Instagram for ages. I still have like a shop front on there. So I think it's important to say that's an option too. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I want to leave, but I'm scared, like you can still have like a 9 grid, have like some static posts there. It's like a shop front that tells people who you are, what you do, directs them to where you want them to go, to your website. So I still have that, but I maybe 6 months ago, I got FOMO. I was like, maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I should go back there. Maybe I am like missing something huge here. So I pushed myself to create a reel. I hated every second of it. I posted it, I got reviews, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm good. I'm good. I tested it. I'm good.
Yeah, just gotta test it.
Hold up. Before we go any further, I need to let you in on something. If you're loving this episode, you have to check out Super Bloom Coach Society, because this podcast, it's just the beginning. SCS is the coaching community built for listeners of this show. It's where we take everything you're learning here and go 10 times deeper with live coaching from me, monthly trainings, and the exact mindset and marketing tools to help you scale. Inside, you'll finally have a blueprint, a clear, strategic path to grow your business with intention instead of chasing every trend or second guessing your next move. Each month, we focus on one powerful topic, from offers and visibility to money mindset and client attraction, so you can build real momentum and see results that last. And you won't be doing it alone. You'll be surrounded by a community of driven, like-minded women who are all building businesses that align with their highest vision. Head to mariahriona.com/society and let's make this your Super Bloom year.
I would love to talk more about email, because I know that's sort of your area of expertise along with your visibility coaching. So tell me all the things email.
So email is like my true love. I love, and look, I am a writer. I do love writing. So it does come probably a little bit naturally to me, but email just feels really intimate, right? Like it's a conversation. Doesn't matter how many people we have on that list. It feels like it's a one-on-one conversation, which is why I love it so much. Yeah, over the last couple of years, I've grown my email list to be quite a significant number, like almost to 10,000. It doesn't feel like, I'm an introvert naturally too, so it doesn't feel like I'm standing on stage in front of 10,000 people, although they're getting my message. But it's this beautiful, intimate place where we get to have a conversation, and then I get to lead them and share my life and share what I'm selling and share what I'm doing, and it's grown my business more than anything else. And I think something that maybe a lot of our listeners can relate to, but a lot of people think with email that it needs to be this formal thing, or that they have to follow some rules, or that it's hard, or it's really not. Like some of my emails will be like 3 sentences just checking in and encouraging them to reply. Like I always think of it like it's just me and my friend having a glass of wine. Like, what would I say to her right now? What will we chat about? And that's how I approach email. And it's worked really well for me.
I love that. It's so true. And I try to tell my clients that all the time. And it's really funny because when they hire me as a designer, they ask me about having this like highly designed email newsletter. And I have to tell them like, no, that's not what we do. Like, we'll have a beautifully designed website, right? But like email, just like you said, it's so intimate. Like I tell them minimal images, like one image or one GIF. Like we want it to feel like you're emailing one person and they're your best friend. So funny, the amount of people that come to me and think they need like this email newsletter, like this templated, designed, and I'm like, that is so impersonal. And truly, especially as a personal brand, the power of email is in having those really intimate conversations with people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And I think, again, it kind of lines up with everything that we know about, even when we think about pre-launch or like anything like that, where we're always told to invite people along for the ride, right? Let them in, let them see the journey, let them see you developing your offers, let them in. How do you do that? You do that really well through email, because you get to ask them questions to like, which title do you like better? What date should the workshop be? Like you get to really involve them in
I
the
love
process.
that. That's awesome.
And they feel included. So then they're more likely to convert. So you'll see it feels better for both of you because you're building that relationship, but then it also translates into your business revenue as well, really, really well.
I really love that point, because that's something I'm realizing I'm not doing myself. I know how important engagement is on, say, Instagram. And so like having those calls to action where you're not asking them to buy anything, you're literally just asking them to engage. Like I feel like I really work at that, but I'm realizing now if I have a call to action in email, it's usually for an offer. It didn't occur to me to ask people in email to engage, just like you would on social. I really love that. Can you give us some examples of, like you just said, like asking about titles and all of that? Like how have you used engagement that's not pointed at sales?
Well, look, let's be honest, it kind of always leads there anyway, right? We're going to be intentional with what we're doing. So like, and a good example, I have an event that is happening next month at the time of recording this, so in September. Before I started planning out or even promoting the event, I was asking them questions, right? Like even questions about where they are in their business or their biggest challenges. It might be a short, like 2 sentences, but like, like, hey, hit reply, let me know, what are you struggling with at the moment? I've got some thoughts, I might have a tip I can share. And just like having a conversation. The tip with this as well, if you send it from your email service provider, like Kid or Flowdesk or something, press enter, like finish writing it, press enter like a few times, like, and push that email signature right down low so that when it actually drops into their inbox, it looks like a personal email, like it looks more one-on-one, because you don't have
that is magical. I love that.
Yeah, like don't do it all the
everybody,
time. But
I want, if you did not catch that, rewind and listen to what she just said, because this is magical. I'm gonna do that. I'm starting tomorrow. I'm gonna do that. That's so great.
Yeah. So normally, like, I'll send emails probably once a month where I do that. So you don't want to do it all the time because, again, it's consent-based marketing. They need to see there's an unsubscribe button if they want to leave, right? Like, so I'm going to send it out all the time. But like once a month, I'll definitely do that. And my whole intent is just to start conversations, and I'll make sure I do it on a time where I have the capacity to reply to their replies, because a lot of times business owners will shoot this out and be like, oh shoot, I can't even, I'm too, how do I, and they won't reply, or and then we drop the ball, because it's like, let's build that trust. So make sure it's time where you actually have time to reply and have these conversations in email. But
right, because that's the worst thing, if somebody actually engages with you and you don't acknowledge it, or you've just like lost it, you've lost that connection right there. So that's awesome.
And then I'm always thinking about, okay, so what have I got coming up? What do we want to be talking about? So for this class, I'm teaching them how to grow without social. So of course I'm asking my list, like, hey, are you using social media? Hit reply, let me know. Do you hate Instagram? Are you loving it? Like, where are you at? Starting these conversations so that when I'm like, oh, hey, I've actually got an event, a free event coming up next month that might be helpful. It's just a next step. It's not me having to send these formal promotional emails that feel really hard. It's just like, well, I've got this, like, let me help you.
That's so great. Are you surprised by the engagement you get back out of people when you ask really like authentic questions like that?
Absolutely. And honestly, like, it did take a little while for my list to get used to that. Like, I would have sent a couple first because they're not used to replying, right? We're used to receiving and reading and then either deleting or putting it in a folder for later. Like, we're not actually used to engaging. It took my list probably a couple of goes before I started getting replies. And then funnily enough, when I replied to those replies, I would get back, oh my God, you replied. I'm like, well, yeah, we're having a chat. Like, I asked you a question. Like, yeah, of course I am. It took a little bit of time, but now, I get stacks of replies and have some really great conversations.
That is so great. You're inspiring me so much. I thought I was going to bring you on because I love email, and I was like, well, I'm going to bring KYLIE on because we need to get my audience on board with loving email too. And now I'm just like, oh no, I'm going to do all this stuff myself. Well, I know that when we did your podcast, you were sort of transitioning into this visibility coach niche, and you had previously been like a coach for moms. I think when we first, I did 2 or 3 bundles with you, email bundles. I think your list was not very big when you started, and you have had explosive growth, because I know that was maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. You were at maybe next to nothing, and now you're at 10,000 subscribers. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So
how did that happen?
Yeah, no, of course. I was like, you want to know why, right? When I pivoted from wedding photographer, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew who I wanted to help. I didn't know how. And so when I was figuring that out, I ended up going to an online event, like a summit, which they're really popular now. But back then, a couple of years ago, they weren't that popular. So I went to a summit, and I just loved, again, I was lonely. I sound so lonely, but I was lonely back then, and I wanted to meet people that I could connect with. And it was a summit for moms. So I went along, and I was like, oh my gosh, this was fun. There were breakout rooms. I had a glass of wine. I was having the time of my life. So I was like, oh, I could host something like this. So I actually hosted my first event only a couple months later. And that first virtual event I had 600 women register. So my email list went from 0 to 600. And then I did it again, and I got another 600 a few months later. And I was like, oh, I think I'm onto something here. I think I'm onto hosting these things in a way that felt really good for me, but grew my list really quite quickly. And of course they are work, right? Everything includes hard work, like we said before. Payoff was there. So after that, I then started playing with bundles, because I have 2 little kids, and while summits worked, they were a lot of work. So I was like, what's a lower lift way I could do this with the boys around, that I didn't have to be on live calls? And And bundles then, back then, weren't such a big thing either. They were kind of getting started. So I hosted a few bundles, and from then on, it's just been me hosting events and again, collaborating with people that now have a larger size list that grows mine so much quicker. So that's no paid ads. That hasn't cost me really a cent apart from the time, right?
I would love to talk to you more about collaborations as well, because it seems like it's very synergistic for you, the connection between your email and these collabs that you're doing. You already shared a few examples like bundles, and like what are some ways that you've collabed, and sort of like what do you think are your favorites?
Oh, I love this question. So I think, honestly, I think it depends on the season of life that I'm in. If it's a busy season or I'm leaning more into rest and like I don't have capacity, right? So I'll do lower lift things like freebie swaps. So like one of my favorite low key strategies that not many people do, but I'll often get like pitched for my podcast and I'll reply because the podcast is full with guests at the moment. But my reply is like, hey, I could do a freebie swap with them instead. Like, let me, like thinking about different opportunities.
I've never even heard of that before. What is a freebie swap?
Well, it's literally like I would send your freebie to my email list and you send my freebie to your email list and we schedule an event and we just leverage each other's audiences. So
I love that.
Yeah, so if we're intentional and make sure that our people are in that audience, right? It's always got to lead with intention, right? But oh my gosh, I've grown my list by hundreds at a time. Yeah, like it's really quite easy. So that's something that I lean into when my capacity needs me to, when I'm a little bit under the pump. But if I have more time, then bundles, summits, things like that where I can create the platform and then I invite people to be a part of it. They'll promote it to their email lists so we can reach more people. That has had massive, massive growth for me as well.
That's amazing. If somebody were listening to this and all this is like new to them, like they don't have an email list really and they want to grow, but this might seem a little overwhelming, what would you suggest would be like a good starting place? Maybe that freebie swap or...
Well, I think for the freebie swap to work, you have to have some kind of list to start with.
Sure,
so I would actually say, I'd actually say you need probably a couple hundred on your email list before we start freebie swapping. What I would do is make sure before you do anything, I want you to make sure that your offer ladder, that you've got somewhere to lead people, that when somebody joins your list, you have like at least one email welcoming them, introducing yourself. I've actually moved away from a full email sequence. I just send one email that introduces me, a few links to the podcast, and then we get on with life together.
Wait, can I stop you right there? I'm curious. Can you tell me why you decided to do that?
Well, because I do email a lot and I like to share a lot. So I didn't want somebody stuck in like a 5-day email sequence. You want to overwhelm them.
Oh, got it.
I wanted them to get the real life kind of
love that
stuff. So if anybody's listening and they're new to email marketing, I do think that thinking about having a big sequence can be overwhelming. So just know you just need one email to introduce yourself, let them know you're a business and what to expect. And then that's it. Like keep it simple. But I want you to make sure that sort of stuff is set up before we start filling the email list with new people, because we want to make sure that customer experience is a good one, that they're not just joining something and then not hearing from you for ages. So make sure you've got the welcome email. And then as far as like easy places to start, you don't need to do what I do. You don't need to host. I'm a little bit of a go big or go home girl. So I just do the hard things straight away, but you don't need to do that. You don't. You can keep things easy. So there are actually, there's a lot of Facebook groups. There's a lot of places online where you'll see people hosting bundles, hosting summits, asking to do podcast guests. Like if you start to just be a little bit more aware and take notice, this is what social media is good for, right? Like take notice in Facebook groups, take notice of what you're hearing online, even put a call out. I would send post, or I would send an email, but you could even do a Facebook post and say like, hey, I'm looking to collaborate and grow my email list. This is what I talk about. Anyone know of anything? You'll be surprised of what comes back. So and then you can be in bundles, you can be in summits, you can come on a podcast like this and chat about your expertise, and you'll be surprised when you put yourself in those rooms, in those places, how quickly things can grow from there. And then when you have a more established email list, we can do freebie swaps and some other fun things to leverage other people's audiences that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love this idea of collaboration just because it it's really about the like relationship building. And I think apart from, getting all of these new followers or subscribers or whatever, I think it's really amazing the networking you can do with other, entrepreneurs in your space. And I think that in and of itself can be so incredibly valuable. Have you experienced that, like just making those connections and seeing where that goes?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would say that's probably the one thing that people don't think about when they are looking to do all these things. Even when I have clients that I help in my mastermind and whatnot to host their own events, they don't think about the payoff that they actually get from the connections that they're making with their speakers, with their contributors. And that could lead anywhere, right? Because they're the perfect people. They're serving your ideal clients in a complimentary way.
Right.
So if we're, again, authentic and genuine and build these relationships, like us recording a podcast 2.5 years later, like
I know, right? I didn't even have a podcast when I went on your podcast, and I was like, wow, she has to come back on my podcast.
I love that. But yeah, it can definitely lead, just being open. One thing that I will say, if you start to really dive into these collaborations and you begin to grow a really big network, is have some kind of system. I don't know about you, but people just drop out of my head and I'm like, the next goal, the next goal. So we want to create some kind of system just so that you can circle back to people.
Really make them feel seen and heard. Like, I think that's so brilliant. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. How do you like to do that? Do you just keep like a Google spreadsheet, or what do you do?
Exactly that. I keep it simple. I'm a bit of a no frills girl over here. So Google Sheets is my best friend. So keeping just a list of people that I've loved collaborating with. So I can like go in there once a week and be like, who haven't I spoken to? And again, it's not like, it's not like super formal with like checkbox, but it's just a list, and I can be like, who's on my heart to reach out to today? I'll send a quick message.
That's such a great practice. Oh my gosh, KYLIE, you've already given us so much to think about and work on. I'm just like, I need to dive in. I love this. So what do you have coming up? You talked about you've got a course that you're working on right now. Is that right?
Well, no, it's an event. So I'm doing a 2-day workshop event. So depending when this goes live, I am going to be doing a reoccurring version of this. So
cool.
If you're interested, it's just kyliekelly.com/event, and you can see the current one that we've got going. But I'm actually playing with it because when you go to webinars or workshops and there's a mix of people that might not be at the same level as you, or B, you sit through all this fluff and then you get sold hard at the end, which I absolutely can't stand. I was like, okay, how do I do this differently? So I'm hosting a 2-day workshop event, but I'm doing all these pre-interview calls for people to actually get a seat to make sure that we're all at the high caliber, the same level. So the questions will be really relevant to everybody that's in the room. And then you can't buy a thing. It's just to get work done. So
that's amazing.
I'm playing with that, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited for it. So it'll be something that I do ongoing. If anybody's interested, just reach out.
That is so cool. That's awesome. So I would like to talk a little bit more about specifically what you do. You are a visibility coach. So for anybody who is wondering, well, what does that mean? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, of course. So I help women, mostly online coaches and service providers, grow their audience without social media. No surprises there. Yeah, what I've done as well is when I started doing this work, I found that there are a lot of my clients that didn't have their messaging, their positioning, their signature offer, any of that stuff dialed in. So it's more of a holistic whole picture view that I help women with now. So instead of just growing the audience and then going like, why is no one buying? What do I do now? We go back and we make sure that everything else is dialed in first. Then we grow the audience, and then we work on the conversion piece. So I do that through like one-on-one private coaching, but I also have a mastermind called Empress where we work through that together as well as a group.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on with me. This was amazing. I honestly just I have like a mental checklist of like, I'm going to try this now and this. And you just had so many great ideas, but this was such a great conversation. I know people are going to want to find out more about you. They're obviously wondering how to connect with you since you don't have social. So where do we want to send them?
Yes, my website is the best place. So just KylieKelly.com. Everything is on there. And then if you do want to get that AI bot we talked about, it's just KylieKelly.com/Sally, SALLY.
Yes, go get your Sally. I love it. Well, thank you, Kylie.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, if you loved this episode, then you have to check out my free training called Clarity to Clients. In this quick but invaluable lesson, I break down the exact shift that took me from stuck and overworked to tripling my revenue while working just 3 days a week. Head on over to my Instagram at Mariah Riona. The link is in the description. And DM me the word clarity. I'll send the link straight to your inbox. But before you go, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if today's conversation hit home, hit that like button, share it with a friend, or leave a quick review. It's one of the best ways to say thanks and helps me reach even more amazing entrepreneurs just like you. I'll catch you back here next week, same time, same place, with more real talk and breakthroughs on how to 10x your business and your life.